So I did a thing. It was a bit of an impulsive decision fueled by a growing unease with my constant connection to the digital world. I felt like I was losing touch with the present moment, always distracted by notifications and the endless stream of information. I locked my AI-powered smartphone in a drawer, banishing it from my daily existence. It felt strangely liberating, like shedding a second skin. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to see it through, and replaced it with a flip phone. A relic from a bygone era, a symbol of simpler times. It felt clunky and outdated in my hand, a stark contrast to the sleek, sophisticated device I had grown so accustomed to. For 7 days, my digital life was reduced to calls and basic texts, a digital detox of sorts. I was curious to see how this would impact my daily routines and my overall well-being. No apps, meaning no social media, no games, no instant access to information, no camera, so I couldn't capture those spontaneous moments or document my experiences in real time, no internet, a complete disconnection from the online world. The challenge sounded simple, a temporary inconvenience, but it felt like stepping into a time machine, a journey back to a less connected, more analog world. I wanted to see if I could function, if I could navigate my daily life without the constant convenience of a smartphone, without relying on its endless features and capabilities. Before starting, I had to warn friends, prepare them for my sudden technological downgrade, calls or slow, typo-ridden texts only. Communication was about to become a lot less efficient. I withdrew cash, anticipating the need for physical money in a world increasingly reliant on digital payments. Printed maps, a tangible reminder of a time before GPS and real-time navigation, and realized how many tasks my phone did for me, how much I had come to depend on it for even the simplest things. As I snapped the flip phone shut, a wave of anticipation washed over me. The click felt final, a definitive end to one way of life, a door closing on my connected world, and the beginning of something new, something unknown. No more mindless scrolling, no more endless feeds of curated content, no more late-night emails, no more blurring the lines between work and personal life, no more endless product reviews, no more impulse purchases fueled by targeted advertising. For the next 168 hours, a full week of digital deprivation, it was just me, my thoughts, and the challenge of navigating a world designed for smartphones without one, and this dumb piece of plastic, my only connection to the outside world. The silence was immediate and deafening, a stark contrast to the constant hum of notifications and digital chatter I had grown so accustomed to. What could possibly go wrong, I wondered, with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The experiment had begun, a journey into the unknown, a test of my resilience and adaptability, and I was already missing my old life. The convenience, the connectivity, the endless stream of information at my fingertips. But I knew that this discomfort was a necessary part of the process, a step towards a more mindful and intentional way of living. The first day, it stretched before me, an uncharted territory of disconnection. I knew it would be a challenge, but I underestimated the sheer force of habit. The first day was haunted by phantom buzzes. My brain, it seemed, was still wired for the digital world, even as my hand clutched a decidedly analog device. My leg twitching for notifications that never came. It was a physical manifestation of my digital withdrawal. Each twitch was a reminder of the constant stream of information I was now missing. I felt like a limb had been amputated and my body was still registering the phantom pain. I reached for my pocket constantly, a reflex honed over years of smartphone dependency. It was almost Pavlovian. The mere thought of a notification triggered the automatic reach, only to find denim, not a screen. The emptiness was jarring. It was a void where endless scrolling, instant communication, and a world of information used to reside. The texture of the denim felt foreign, unfamiliar. My morning routine vanished, the carefully curated newsfeed, the quick scan of social media, the podcast during breakfast, all gone. It was a strange, unsettling blank slate. No news, at least not delivered instantly and algorithmically tailored to my preferences. The newspaper felt bulky and outdated, no emails pinging with urgent requests or enticing offers. The silence was deafening. No social media, just silence. A stark contrast to the constant chatter and curated realities of the online world. It was a silence that forced me to confront my own thoughts. I got out of bed early, feeling both productive and disconnected. The extra time felt both liberating and unsettling. What was I supposed to do with all this newfound space? Making breakfast without a podcast felt oddly meditative. The sounds of the kitchen, the smell of coffee, the simple act of preparing food, these became the focus. It was a sensory experience I had almost forgotten. The real test came at lunch when the urge to mindlessly scroll through my phone was almost unbearable. I had to text for directions, a task that felt archaic and frustratingly slow, then actually look for street signs. Imagine that. Relying on my own observation skills instead of blindly following a digital voice. Navigating without a map app felt like stepping back in time, forced me to pay attention to the world around me. The architecture, the people, the sounds of the city, all became more vivid. I noticed details I had previously missed, lost in the digital haze. By evening I was exhausted, but it was a different kind of exhaustion. Not from work, but from the anxiety of being disconnected. The constant hum of the digital world had been replaced by a disquieting silence. Every siren made me wonder what news I was missing, what crisis was unfolding that I was blissfully unaware of. Friends laughed at memes I couldn't see, inside jokes that were inaccessible without the context of the internet. FOMO was real, a gnawing sense of being left out of the collective digital experience. I set a single alarm, a far cry from the multiple reminders and customized wake-up routines I was used to. Plugged in the flip phone, a simple act that felt strangely symbolic, and went to bed. Sleep came quickly, a welcome escape from the day's anxieties. But my mind was restless, haunted by the ghosts of notifications, the phantom vibrations that still echoed in my subconscious. The digital silence was both peaceful and unnerving, a double-edged sword that offered both respite and isolation. I realized how much of my life was built around constant connection, how deeply intertwined my identity had become with the digital world. The flip phone was already changing me, forcing me to confront my dependence and reevaluate my relationship with technology. I wondered if I could make it through the week, if I had the willpower to resist the siren call of the smartphone. Day one was over, a small victory in a larger battle. But the challenge had just begun. The real test, I suspected, was yet to come. Day 2 and T9 texting was torture. Every message was a chore, so I started abbreviating everything. CUL8R wasn't nostalgia, it was survival. Group chats? Gone. I was out of the loop, relying on second-hand updates. Making plans meant texting everyone individually, like a social secretary from the past. The upside? I started calling people. Conversations were more focused, more human. Without multitasking, calls demanded my full attention. I missed sending photos, sharing links, and the richness of modern communication. Everything felt stripped down, pure but limited. The flip phone forced me to interact differently, and it wasn't always easy. Simplicity had its price. I was learning just how much I relied on my smartphone for connection. By day 3, the frustration faded, replaced by calm. The world was happening right in front of me, not on a screen. Waiting in line, I people-watched instead of scrolling. Evenings were wide open. I read a book for hours, undistracted. My attention span, once fractured, began to heal. Sleep improved without late-night screen time. My daily screen time was laughably low. The flip phone was an accidental sleep aid and focus tool, but practical hassles remained. Paying with cash, checking my bank balance on a laptop. I missed my smartphone's utility, but the peace of mind felt worth it. I was less efficient, but more present. Day 4 broke my streak. I got lost on the way to a meeting, no map, no help, just a useless flip phone. Texting for help was slow and awkward. I finally asked a stranger for directions, feeling archaic and frustrated. The calm I'd found unraveled. The flip phone felt like a handicap, not a tool. I craved the convenience I'd dismissed. The friction of analog life wore me down. I realized my smartphone wasn't just a toy, it was essential. I wanted it back, badly. The experiment felt harder than ever. I questioned if I could finish the week. After the meltdown, I had to adapt. Day 5 was about planning, looking up directions in advance, writing notes, confirming plans early. Life became more structured, less reactive. I was steering the ship, not just reacting to notifications. With people, I was fully present. No distractions, better conversations. A friend noticed I was more engaged. The flip phone forced me to be intentional with my time and attention. By the end of the day, I found a rhythm. Life was slower, but not impossible. I rediscovered skills, planning, observing, focusing, and real conversation. The flip phone became a demanding teacher, not an enemy. I was finally learning its lesson. Adaptation was possible. Maybe, just maybe, I could finish strong. Day 6 felt like a victory lap. I noticed the world, architecture, changing leaves, small interactions, details I'd missed before. At home, I tackled neglected tasks, creating order and calm. The flip phone gave me time, and I filled it with real accomplishments. Without a good camera, I watched a sunset instead of photographing it. Some moments I realized are better lived than captured. The digital anxiety was gone. My mind felt clear. I didn't know what was trending and I didn't care. I was present, undistracted, and at peace. The flip phone had given me my attention back. I was grateful for the quiet. The final day was for reflection. The flip phone experiment started as a challenge, but became a reset for my brain. I realized how much of my smartphone use was mindless habit. The flip phone broke that loop, forcing me to be intentional. If I picked it up, it was for a reason, not just to fill time. I missed my smartphone's utility, but I valued the clarity I'd gain. The experiment wasn't about proving flip phones are better, but about understanding the cost of convenience. The real test would be applying these lessons to my digital life. Could I use my smartphone more mindfully? The week had changed me. 5. Life without one is nearly impossible. Smartphones are so deeply integrated into the fabric of our society. They're essential for even for a day. You might be surprised by what you discover. Create space between you and your device. Put it in balance is possible, if you choose it. It requires intention, awareness, and a willingness to prioritize your well-being over the demands of the digital world.